The riots that are occurring all over England right now prove one thing. The English have no idea how to riot. It's not that the English don't have a plausible justification. Brexit, wokeism, climate change are just three things that divide the people of Britain, but there's one thing that unites us all. We have suffered for long enough. From the austerity drive of the early 2010s that has seen the destruction of public services and the literal crumbling of school buildings, to the COVID era when our dead had to be buried without family send-off, while our politicians partied the night away and mocked us while doing so.
This fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced.
To the cost of living crisis when working people have had to choose between heat or eat, and workers queue at food banks for everyday essentials that their real-term pay cut salaries can't stretch to. In any other country, any single one of the many moments of hardship and suffering and outrage from the last decade would have been more than enough to cause a riot. Yet no political misbehaviour, however shameful and disgusting, is ever enough for the British to riot. The British middle and lower classes don't attack their powerful lords and masters. Instead, with great gusto, the weak and less powerful members of British society only ever go after those who are much weaker and powerless, while the ruling classes across the entire political spectrum look on with glee. The target of the England riots is immigrants, in particular Muslim immigrants. It's not surprising. The UK has had 20 years of Muslims and immigrants in general being presented by the media and even the government as undesirable, thieves, scroungers, and a lot worse. Some of the accusations are true. Every society contains bad people. But to judge any race of people by actions of their few is racism in its purest form. The truth is, immigration is a problem in the UK. Record numbers of people are illegally crossing the Channel into England. The process to deal with them is not fit for purpose. Something needs to be done. However, immigration is only one problem in the UK. It is not the cause of the country's problems. Far from it. The cause of the UK's problems is its successive governments. I left the UK a decade ago and emigrated to Morocco, a Muslim country. I suppose you could say I am the opposite example of what is happening in the UK. I left the UK because I could see the country was going downhill. Over the last decade or more, UK governments have failed to serve the people. In stark contrast, Morocco. During COVID, Morocco managed the crisis far, far better than the British government did. Certainly, there were no sex-fueled all-night parties carried out by government ministers here in Morocco. When it comes to public transport, Morocco is extending its high-speed rail. The UK has just scrapped its high-speed train extension due to the lack of money. Morocco is building schools and improving its healthcare system. In the UK, the schools are literally crumbling and people are dying in hospital corridors. Morocco is spreading its wealth throughout the country. In the UK, everything is centred in London, leaving other parts of the nation to perish. There are almost countless reasons why British people should be angry. Immigration is one of those reasons. But the British need to make the distinction between immigration, the problem, and immigrants, the effect of the problem. Right now, there are riots going on in Bangladesh, Niger, Kenya, Israel, Colombia, and occasionally France. In each country, the riots are against the government. That is something the British can learn from these nations. Only in the UK do we riot against other people rather than the government. And that should never be.